Well, the calls for the establishment of state police as a panacea to the current insecurity in the country has continued to intensify. Now, Chairman of the Senate Committee on Finance, Senator Sani Musa, is advocating massive recruitment of personnel into the armed forces, as well as urging the government to adopt new tactics in intelligence gathering to address the state of insecurity across the country. The senator also called on the federal government to re-engineer the nation's security architecture against the backdrop that the present one is not working. Musa also said it's become imperative that all hands must be on deck to ensure the protection of individuals, communities, and the entire nation against dangers and attacks. Arise analyst Dayo Sobowale is here with us to discuss the salient national issue. Good afternoon, Mr. Sobowale. Thank you for being here.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure of being here as usual.
Absolutely.
Right.
And of course, we saw, I think it was yesterday, we saw Amnesty International stating that it's time for a national emergency to be declared regarding the kidnapping that we've seen. So the distrust between the security agencies and the citizenry in trusting them to carry out their duty of protecting lives and property is dwindling by the day. Right. What would you like to see happen with immediate effect, please?
Well, I think the security chiefs should get down to the ground and find out what is happening. Because it is separate. We are losing the fight against insecurity. That of ransom, the one going on in Abuja, you see, you'll be wondering who is in charge now. You see the police, you see the DSS. So there is lack of synergy in the way we are tackling insecurity. But today I will dwell on that of police. And essentially, I will dwell on deployment and the use of technology. You see, the way we deploy police people all over the country is as if Nigeria is a perfect federation. Whereas if it was that much of a perfect federation, we wouldn't have the federal character. You get me? The federal character is to reflect some balance and fairness in deployment and in the enjoyment of benefits. But we will see that it is not really working. It has not created equity, it has not respected the diversity, and the imbalance is there. That's why we have this failure of security. In some areas, you find people deployed to go and quell riots, rapid response force of the police, to go and quell riots, and they don't speak the language of the people of the area. They can't communicate, they can't gather information. It's like walking into a booby trap if you don't have adequate intelligence, and you just go and attack people. Like they said, okay, I read in the paper, maybe yesterday or so, the camp of some policemen, bandits went there and attacked them. Not that the policemen went to ransack the bandits. And they said they have motorcycles, equipment, and all that. You see, let us look at a simple example. Anywhere you see where there are raids on people, and they kill people and they drive them away, invariably they say they go there on motorcycles. Our police, I've not seen many police in the past. In Lagos, I used to see some of them on some smart motorcycles, looking like robots like this. But they are not around anymore. The state security funds are used to buy jeeps, heavy vehicles, and so on. Whereas these people committing this havoc, they are pedestrians, and if they are not pedestrians, they are like Okada people. I'm not saying Okada people are rogues, because if the police know what they are doing, they can even cooperate the Okadas into the intelligence gathering situation, because that's what most people use to travel about in our cities and all that. So essentially, there's need to do a sociological reorientation for the police in terms of planning, in terms of appreciating our demographics, to know the sort of people in certain areas and how to deploy or access intelligence about such people, so they can take proactive action, not after events have happened, then you are running helter-skelter. You see, there is no worse example or no better example of how security has failed than the situation in Abuja. Yeah, people are asking for ransom, and they are killing people and increasing it. And that's not, it's like we are in a failed state.
It's almost as if the ransom, it's like a business now.
Yes.
And they know, they're
right.
thinking very hard, and they're
preempting. When I was growing up, if you read some novels on blackmail, you don't succumb to blackmail. But once you succumb to the blackmail, you will ask for more. That is what is happening in real life now, and human life. And this is happening to people who have the money, which has upped the kidnapping expectation of these crooks. They won't go to people who will not be able to get somebody to ransom them. And invariably they discover they think such people are worthless and tell them to go away. So it is policing is to protect. Just the army is to deter our external enemies. But inside, the police must be organized and deployed in such a way that criminals should be afraid that the police is around. That one is no longer there now. They have lost the deterrence, and if they lose the deterrence, invariably they are losing the legitimacy and support of the people. It may at long last, we'll have to resort to state police. Or even if you have state police, the fear of those at the center not wanting state police is that it may turn the country into a sort of confederation. But if every governor has the police at his beck and call, even if the president wants to send some forces on federal grounds for intervention, it will not be possible. So we need to organize our police system along federal lines, and the issue of catchment area, sociological orientation of our forces, and the use of technology. They don't all have to be everywhere something is happening. Let them have technology. You watch films, you see Hong Kong police, you see how they have equipment from which they can locate where calls are coming from, where people are deployed to. I haven't read somewhere, I think I've mentioned it here. They say China is a police state, or a one-party state. But their people are secure, and they use technology to monitor them. Get me? I read that if you see Chinese police people wearing dark glasses, see, that glass can penetrate your clothes and see what is on your body. But you know, if you do that in our own environment, they'll see human rights.
Yeah, exactly.
But they do it. It's a one-party state, and their society is safe. I'm not saying we should go to that extent, but let us deploy people who understand the environment to areas where crimes are being committed, so that they can gather intelligence and save all of us.
Yes. Very right, because the midway between China and Nigeria is where we'd like to fall.
Yes.
But it's also the creativity of the brazenness of these non-state actors, just like we were discussing the unfortunate case in Abuja with the ransom and the increase and the unfortunate killing of the kidnapped. How can we creatively get ahead of these ransomers, these kidnappers, these people who have come to create havoc? I know you mentioned the use of technology, yes, but there has to be some other less technical way of engaging them in a more creative, preemptive way.
The will. We do not have the will. When they were raising this ransom price, some people were saying yesterday they will contribute money.
Right.
That is the sort of negative message to the criminals, that, you know, if they stay their ground, they will get a much higher money. And you see, a police officer said it yesterday, that you see, the police must do his job, that they must not be paying ransom. Then they said he has no milk of human kindness for those who have been killed. And then he told them one thing. He said they are crying more than the bereaved. and everybody over the internet started attacking him. But you should not cry more than the bereaved. That is the real solution. The will, you must find the will, of course, the will of the mind, and then the firepower in terms of technology to locate where these people are and to frighten them out or kill them outright by force of arms.
We do have 2 minutes, Mr. Sobowale. Thank you for the points that you've raised. But going back to technology, there was an online newspaper that put out polls to basically get suggestions from Nigerians to recommend what they like to see done. And someone narrated that in their own experience, when they had a case of, maybe being attacked by a robber or whatever, and went to police, they did say that in terms of tracing the number of the person that was making the calls, that they didn't have the equipment. The 2 had gone bad and 1 was in the possession of the DSS. So what does this say about how ill-equipped we are? Because this should be easy if we have the tools needed to, because these people are making calls probably twice a day to the families.
You mentioned it yourself. Their equipment, one was spoiled.
Yes.
Whose fault is that? It's their own fault. Maintenance, that's maintenance. And it's a common Nigeria problem. It's not peculiar to them. Have you been to many places where the lifts are not working, this is not happening and all that? See, it's the poor maintenance attitude. And that creates inefficiency. And if you are not efficient, you can't be effective. It's as simple as that. Look, if you have your car, if you don't service it well, it will break down.
Of course.
That's it. So if they have the equipment, and you see, one thing I will tell you is, if you go and look at budget for police, budget for all this, they have bought all these things. You get me? They have allocations, but it's as if they don't remember to use them when crisis crop up.
Do they know how to use them?
That's poor leadership. What?
Do they even know how to use them?
No, they will have trained them. They spend money on such things now, training, adaptation, and all that. But when it comes to execution, you see, people have spent a lot. This is a rich country, even though it doesn't just trickle down. Look at our budget. How many countries have that sort of budget in Africa, even in Europe? Wow. You get me? But it's the will to perform and deliver, and not be selfish in helping society.